Welcome friend to Mikaroh in the handsome world. Today I have privilege of chatting with my friend Nick. He's handsome, brilliant, and all around
Too kind, thank you.
and all around good personality and charming personality and chill person. So that's why I invite him today. And most of all, I want to share his story from his international policy expertise to his adventures in love and cultures. So that's why you're here.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome to my channel. Can you explain a bit yourself to audience?
So my name is Nick. I'm from New York. I've lived in 4 countries in the last 2 years, so kind of been a bit all over the place. I'm currently in Korea with the Green Climate Fund.
Whoa.
So recent to Korea, still exploring it. But
1 month?
1 month now, yes.
Beginner.
Been an interesting month, but yes. Excited to be here.
Wow, 4 countries. You lived 4 countries, and you lived in your hometown is New York.
Just outside of New York, but when I'm home now, that's usually where I spend my time. Then to London, then to the Middle East and Jordan, and now in Korea.
Wow. Why you lived in several countries?
Doing my studies and then internships and work, which brought me here.
You work for UN agency, right?
Yes, so I started out with the U.S. government, the U.S. House of Representatives, doing foreign policy work. Then I studied in the UK for a year, then went to Jordan with the UN for Israel, Palestine, Palestinian refugees, and Green Climate Fund now here in Korea.
Wow, your background is really international, and international organization is very difficult to get in, right?
It is, and I'm still figuring out myself. Unfortunately, it is.
But you want to work for their, right? Your goal is like that?
Yeah. I always thought for myself, I want a career that lets me travel and explore different cultures and politics. So I think this is the best field for me to be in. I studied medicine for a while, and I actually switched. Yeah, I made a big switch.
How you transfer?
I
It's
did
different.
microbiology, then it was like, global health, and then global politics, and it was a slow transition away from it. But I think for me, it's the lifestyle I'd like to live. So.
But you had interest in policy and politics?
Yeah,
before?
yeah, like in a more global health context, but now it's more other kinds of politics, yes.
Health policy, you had interest in
Originally, yeah.
Originally.
But I think now less so. It's
Now-
still interesting, but I don't think it's my
So
career
then,
path.
recent interest, what is the recent interest in terms of international policy?
I think that's what I'm trying to explore still, because each of my experiences have been so different. One being with U.S. government and U.S. foreign policy, then Israel-Palestine and refugee policy. Now it's international development. So I think that's kind of why I'm still taking these different experiences, different places to figure out what I'm best suited for, and I think what interests me the most.
Wow, super various field, right?
Eventually I'll have to pick a lane, but I think for now I like to test the waters.
But you just immerse yourself all categories, not limited your interests, right?
I think early on it's the best for me to try different things and see what sticks. But the interesting thing about something like the UN or international work is you can try a lot of different things, even later on in your career. It keeps it interesting.
Oh,
I think,
really?
yes.
Wow. That work culture is also interesting to you?
Sorry?
I mean, UN organization is a very big, huge organization,
It is,
right?
yes. Yeah.
Government, right?
Yeah, but you can kind of get different forms of it, right? You can be in a headquarters and do more of a kind of corporate thing, or you can be out in the fields in war zones, front lines, just kind of having an on-the-ground impact. So I think any sort of direction you want to take it, you can find an option that's suitable for that.
You think there are inside a lot of flexibilities?
There is, and that's something I like about it.
Oh, really?
Because I think as someone who gets bored and wants to see different countries and do different things, I can keep it interesting.
Oh, wow, interesting.
Start fresh. Yeah.
Wow. Because in Korea, it's very difficult to meet someone who works for UN agency. So it's very difficult to get and hold that infos. And also, you know, in Korea, the company or organization where it's very difficult to get in, very competitive organization, we called there by like 신의 직장. 신의 직장 means God's company.
Okay, wow, very high up.
You work there, 신의 직장.
Trying to find my way. But unfortunately,
MBU.
there's not too many UN agencies in Korea or even in the region. So a
In
lot
Korea?
of there's not too many. So most of them are concentrated in the Middle East or the West. Unfortunately, the Green Climate Fund is the first to really be obviously in Korea, but in the region more broadly. So yeah, trying to make some more changes and opportunities for people in Korea.
Okay, so then I have to try in Korea, UN agency.
Yeah.
Okay. So you work for UN agency and you experience various cultures so far. That experience, how those experience have shaped your perspective, your interest like a policy, or your life?
Yeah, I think jumping countries and cultures, because each of the countries I've lived in, maybe besides the US and the UK, are quite different from each other. And it takes a little while to figure out how to operate in that environment and understand the people a bit more and the culture. So I think jumping around, it's really, I was saying before, I kind of live in a perpetual state of culture shock. I'm always, as I get settled somewhere, then I jump to the next. But you do realize there's a lot of similarities that cut between it. Like the world is not always so different as it might appear. The Middle East and Korea have a lot of similarities, US and Korea. So you can find these common threads that I think makes it easier. It's always a bit hard at first, but I think the more countries you do, it kind of, you find your rhythm with it and the best way to approach it. Yeah.
So then you, when you go to the unfamiliar culture country, you try to find similarity.
Yeah, I think that's the way you can kind of mitigate the effects of culture shock, right? You have to find that one thing that you know and understand and then kind of latch onto that and keep you grounded. And then from there, when you have a good foundation, you can go explore. But I also think you need to be flexible and willing to put yourself out there. Sometimes it's easy to become reclusive and just kind of push all the scary things out, but I think you have to have this level of vulnerability to be able to embrace the culture and to make mistakes and have people get upset with you for not knowing all the cues. But unfortunately, that's the line of work.
Makes sense. You work various countries and work UN, very big, huge organization. Like as a professional, international worker, do you have some tips to people who want to work or expand their career internationally like me?
Yeah. At first it can seem really scary again to work in a different country and different cultures. So I think, just kind of prepare yourself and just don't set expectations too high. Just kind of jump into it and just see how it feels and then decide for yourself. Also, I think because it's very competitive, you just have to apply, and it's a very grueling process and it's very demoralizing. I think for my role in Jordan, I applied to maybe 30 or 40 different positions, and I got 2 back, and that's only for an internship, right? For a job, it's even worse. And sometimes the waiting periods you can apply and hear back a year later. So I think it's just being persistent, having your eye on the goal that you want to achieve, and just sticking to it.
So you want to explore all around the world?
I think so. I think for now, while I'm in my 20s, and I think I have that flexibility. Maybe later I want to get something a bit more permanent, but I think there's still so much left of the world to explore. So
where do you want to go next step? Next to Korea?
I've been looking at it already. There's obviously wars in Yemen and Sudan right now, so I think that would be a different experience and a way that I can make some impact. But I'm also looking at different things in Europe and Washington, D.C., some more stable places. So kind of open-minded. I think whatever comes my way.
You just open all opportunities.
Yeah.
You don't have any priority.
I think because I'm still kind of in an exploratory phase where I just want to see different things and again put myself in different settings, potentially in a more conflict zone to understand and to further my professional development. I think having that experience can really be positive in future positions. And just of course strengthening a CV as well. But my friends want me to come back to the UK or US, but I don't know, I'm resistant. I'll come back eventually, guys.
Okay, but you feel fulfillment when you work for UN agency? Because that is international government.
Yeah, I think this is like it's really exciting because it's something a lot of people strive to, and myself, it's always been a goal of mine. But of course, it has its flaws as well. Like it's a lot to be said about the UN. It's not a perfect place, but I think for my interests and the work that I want to do and impact I want to make, it's the right place for me right now.
You really enjoyed it.
I do. I think it's very fulfilling and very interesting because you get to work with people from all corners of the planet. I mean, the GCF where I work is people from everywhere, so and that's the environment I like to work in and people I like to be around.
That's very jealous point because when you work at the company, it's very difficult to feel fulfillment, you know, and also international organization like impact. Social impact, good positive impact. They always focus on it. It's maybe very make people who work for their fulfillment make
Sure.
In the sense, I should try to apply it there. I
You
think.
should see where it leads.
Seriously, right?
Definitely.
Definitely. Okay. So.